Hi everyone, Sandy Grove, registered nurse here again with Health Tracks at Home. This week we're going to finish our emergency prep plan. The first week we talked about having an emergency kit, then we talked about how vital communication is for us to be safe, and then last week we talked about do I stay or do I go, stay at home versus evacuation. Today we're going to talk about all the alerts that we need to be aware of and where they come from. As usual, I get my information from reliable sources. This week it is going to be from, once again, the Department of Homeland Security at ready.gov and FEMA. So you can look up this information in your own time frame or print off any materials that you might need. So this week we're closing the loop on communication and our emergency alert systems. So once you put your plan together, these are the questions that you need to ask your family. We're now going to close everything up. So if you've missed one of these, make sure you take care of it. So first of all, how will I receive emergency alerts and warnings? 2, what is my shelter plan? 3, what is my evacuation plan? We talked about those last week. 4, what is my family and household communication plan? We talked about that a couple weeks ago. And then, do I need an update to my emergency prep kit? Or do I need to get one? One of the two. And then also they've added to the list to check with the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, regarding COVID. That is now part of our emergency prep plan. So they recommend that you have masks, hand washing supplies, disinfectants, etc., in your emergency kit for during the time of year that you are at risk for other diseases that may come your way. So then we want to talk about considering the needs of your actual household. So who are you responsible for? Who comes in and out? This is your network of people that can assist you in times of emergency, or the people, excuse me, that come to visit with you on an ongoing basis. So this is talking about medical needs, etc. So once you've created your own plan, here's a few more areas for you to concentrate on. 1, the different ages of the members in your household. If you have little children to age 90, you need to have 2 different plans for each of those. It is not going to be the same for a 90-year-old versus a 4-year-old or a 2-year-old. Responsibilities for assisting others. Who's responsible for grandma? Who's responsible for the person in the wheelchair? Who's responsible to grab the emergency packs? Make sure you talk about who's responsible for what, because everybody goes like this in case of an emergency. Locations that you frequent. This is a good thing to talk about with your family. In case when the disaster strikes, you have to stay in place somewhere else. These are some of the places that they would know that they could look for you if they couldn't find you at your home. Your dietary needs, we did talk about making sure we have enough food for 3 days in our pack, but what about if somebody has special dietary needs? Make sure you have that available in your emergency kit. The medical needs, including the prescriptions and equipment, we've talked about that quite a few times. Disabilities or access and functional needs, including devices, equipment. Who's responsible for transporting that if you have to leave? Who's responsible for grabbing it from the garage or from the room, etc. Talk about those specifics. Language is spoken. This can be a problem if you're trying to deal with emergency personnel. So make sure you have a designated person as the interpreter to help your loved one that may not speak English to feel comfortable and safe. Also, cultural and religious considerations. This is important to think of with people from other countries. You will know what I mean if I say cultural considerations. Religious considerations may have related to diet, transfusion of blood, things like that. You would want to know if anyone in your household has issues with that. Then we've talked a lot about taking care of your pets and your service animals. Make sure that somebody's going to take care of them. Households with small children, you have a different set of rules. We talked a little bit about this when we talked about fires last week. We all have an emergency plan for our children that are with us. But what about if you have intermittent children with you? Your grandchildren come to stay with you on the weekend, or you babysit once a week, or you have somebody that's disabled that you care for on a weekly basis. You need to have a disaster plan for those individuals as well, because you never know when disaster is going to strike, and you need to have a plan to be able to help them as well, especially if you are a caregiver of the aged or of the young. make sure you have them in your plan. So then we're going to know our wireless alerts. So they're called WEAs. That's the acronym I'm going to use, and it stands for Wireless Emergency Alerts. So wireless, as we know, goes through our phone. These are from public safety individuals that so they can quickly get a hold of us and effectively alert the public to serious emergencies. So what do we need to know about those WEAs? Well, first of all, they can be sent by state or local public and safety officials, the National Weather Service, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and the President of the United States. WEAs can be issued for 5 different alert categories. They are imminent threat, public safety, Amber Alerts, we all know about that one, we get that quite a bit, presidential, and then there's also those test messages that we get on our TVs and on our phones. WEAs look like text messages but are designated and designed to get our attention. So they make this crazy noise and your phone is going to vibrate. That's to get our attention, and we know that's different than a regular text coming in. There are no more than 360 characters. They include the type and time of the alert and any action that you need to take as an individual. Think about our flash flood warnings that we get. They tell you specifically how long it lasts, what you need to do if you're directly affected, and where you need to go. Then, just so you know, those alerts are not affected by network congestion, or they won't disrupt texts or phone calls. They will go into effect when you get done with what you're doing on your phone or on your computer. Mobile users are not charged for these alerts. They're free. But there's some things you might want to do to troubleshoot a problem. What if your phone, excuse my glasses, it's getting darker in my house as I'm talking. I love it. The sun comes up and the clouds come up and we're going back and forth. So I'm not doing that deliberately. That's God Almighty. Anyway, what do you troubleshoot? How do you troubleshoot if you have a phone that maybe doesn't have this? So check the settings on your phone first. Go into settings or review user manual. Find out if you have this turned off. Most of them you can't, but on the old phones, they may not necessarily have WEA capable. And now all cell phones have WEA, but you could contact your service provider to find out if there's some way to get around this. They probably have a plan on how to fix this, especially now that we've got all these disasters going on around us. I'm sure they have a way to fix it. Also, so that you know, on your phone, it may be called government alerts or emergency alert messages. It depends on your type of phone and your provider. Then, like I said, check with your wireless provider to see if they can help you. All major phone providers and some smaller providers participate in WEA, so we pretty much know it's available to us out there. The Federal Communications Commission registers all WEA providers, so we're protected under that. And also FEMA, Integrated Public Alert Warning Systems, comes through the FEMA app. You can go into your phone and you can download that as well. And that can give you the National Weather Service alerts for up to 5 different locations anywhere in the U.S. So you could know if your family that lives in North Carolina is having an alert at this time due to weather. You could get notified if you wanted to know that right away. So 5 different places. I didn't know that. I thought that was really cool. So download that FEMA app. It's a good idea. Then one last thing I wanted to go over that the Treasury Department recommends. If you are dependent on mail-in money, if you get your Social Security benefits or your checks via the mail, during a disaster, the mail can be held up for weeks. So they recommend, especially for seniors that are Social Security and in dire need to have cash funds available readily, that you sign up for electronic payments. You can do that at the U.S. Treasury Department site, Social Security, you can call them, or you can get the direct deposit information from your bank and they will take care of it for you, or you can call 800-333-1795, or you can as well sign up online. So that's a good idea to make sure your funds are coming in. You don't want to be in a disaster and then worry about money as well on top of everything else. I appreciate that all of you have hung in there for 4 weeks of learning about our emergency systems. If we do one thing, it's better than nothing. And I pray that you are getting together some of those emergency things and at least talking to your family about what are we going to do if. That's a great thing to do. Have a family meeting. Make sure everybody's taken care of. And as usual, like I said at the beginning, I get my information from reliable sources. This has been from the Department of Homeland Security at ready.gov this week. If you have any questions, you can go to that site or you can contact your medical provider and they can help you with some of this information. There's also a lot of other agencies around San Diego County and probably in your area as well that can give you the information that you need. If you don't know how to do it, ask your grandkid. They will help you with your phone. They're the best at all this newfangled stuff that we need to know, and they can get you and help you get part of the plan. Ask them to help you set up the alerts on your phone. Find out where they are, and then they will be involved in the emergency disaster plan as well by helping you out. So I am so grateful that I had this time with you again this week. I pray that you stay safe and God's covering is over you all the time. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.